Wannabes? Welcome back to Wannabe Travelers. Before we get started with today's video, Ash and I just wanted to say a few words of gratitude and appreciation.
Yeah, we just want to thank all of our subscribers, all 41 of you guys. We had such a fun time filming our last video, A Day in a Life, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But we hit a small milestone of over 400 views, and that hasn't happened for us yet.
No.
So we just want to thank everyone who subscribed and who watched our video, because it truly means the world to us. And
It does.
We're so excited for this journey with y'all, and we just say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, so with that out of the way, we're going to get our run out of the way for today, and then we're going to get started with our 7 harsh realities of owning an older RV. Watch them. Alright guys, back from the run. We're going to start with today's breakfast and then get into the 7 harsh realities of owning an older RV. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is age. Age of RV. If you're new here, Ashlynne and I bought a 30-year-old RV because of the cost effectiveness. We didn't want to have a payment plan or spend more than $5,000. This is what this cost us. It was a great entry price. We love it so far. What we were not aware of, especially in Washington at the time we were in Seattle, was ageism. Age restrictions against RVs. We weren't originally planning on coming back to Texas. We were going to try and stay in Seattle. We had our own business established there. Everything was going to go smoothly and all that stuff. Wrong. We started calling around to the RV parks that were open, and immediately we were hit with, how old is your RV? We only accept RVs 10 years or newer. And so obviously we were like, oh, we didn't know this. Again, 30 years old. Like it's a great RV. We love it, but it's 30 years old. People kind of turned us away. Correction. Let me say that again. They didn't turn us away in the sense of, no, you can't be here. They just turned us away in the sense of, we will not rent to you long term. And what that ended up being was, I know for a fact, one RV park in the Seattle Bellevue area was like, we can only rent to you 28 days at a time, and that's it. And it really made it to where it didn't make sense for us to stay there. 2, it made it to where financially we weren't getting the benefit of a long-term rental or a long-term stay anywhere. So he was just like, it's the best we can do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. We were kind of bummed, but again, we also knew that we had the opportunity to just come back home and be with family and not have to worry about age restrictions. Another part where age restriction came into play was when we were looking for camp hosts. 2 of the 3 parks that we applied to did not really care about the age of our RV. They just simply asked, are we fully self-contained? Can we, does it look good? Is it well maintained? Yes, no problem. Perfect. One RV park, which was actually more inside of Yellowstone, it was working for the National Park Service. They completely were like, we'll interview you, we'll do everything, but then it also comes down to pictures of your RV and what it looks like, and they essentially were like, it's an age restriction. They didn't use those words, but they made it very clear that we probably wouldn't end up qualifying for that position just based off our RV. So again, it was another part where we want to be full-time RVers. We want to do this, you know, for a really long go of it, but there's just some places that are going to say no because of the age of your RV, and that's the reality. Wait, point number 2. Sorry guys, we made breakfast. It's so good. Point number 2, rent. Again, part of the realization of wanting to be in Washington and wanting to stay in like the Pacific Northwest and all that was the parks there. A month we're renting, like a month-long stays or long-term stays, we're renting anywhere from $1,400 a lot to $1,600 a lot. At the time in our studio apartment in Seattle, we were paying $1,500. Mind you, we want to do full-time RV because it gives us the opportunity to, you know, pay off our debts, save some money a lot faster than, you know, renting an RV. Renting an apartment, it didn't make sense for us to say, hey, let's get this 30-year-old RV and go pay $1,600 for 28 days, right? Again, we're fully aware that we're very lucky that we get to be it now with family and we have our own property and stuff, but everything up there was just so expensive, and I don't know if that's just the Pacific Northwest or, you know, more of your national park surrounded areas, things like that. But we've also looked into lot spaces here in Texas and the Houston area and the Austin and, you know, Dallas, San Antonio area, and the average lot goes for about $500 to $700, so nearly almost half. And I mean, you don't get all the beauty of staying or living in a state, in a place like Washington or, you know, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and that's okay. But realize that it's not going to be as easy as you think as far as rent, or it's not going to be as cheap as you think as far as rent. And do your research, do your homework. Are you going to be okay staying at the cheaper option, but maybe not having a lot of those outdoor activities that we would want to do? Or do you want to pay for the bigger cost a month for your space and have access to nature and national parks and just everything that comes with had we stayed in a place like Washington? Again, we're fortunate. We're heading to Montana. We're gonna work, and it's gonna be beautiful and great, and just a tremendous experience. But, you know, would we be able to do that if we weren't camp hosting? I'm not sure. All right, guys, let's take this party to the living room area. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is humidity, and therefore a dehumidifier. Humidity affects pretty much all RVs. Specifically though, our older RV or any older RV that you might be considering getting, is the windows they're just so drafty. Like, we've debated on pulling them all and resealing them and doing different things to mitigate that issue, but really the biggest help right now is a dehumidifier. And we picked up this bad boy for $25 on Facebook Marketplace. Again, starting RV life, doing anything RV related, it comes with a lot of things. Don't feel like you have to buy them new. You have options on Facebook Marketplace. We bought this. Retails brand new for like $225. We bought it for $25, and it works great. The reason you want to be able to have a dehumidifier, whether it's that one or any kind, is you don't want that moisture to build up and start to affect your wood, start to, you know, cause mold or anything like that. So I highly suggest, if you're considering getting an older RV, one of your first investments should be a dehumidifier. Point number 4 is our tanks, our gray water, black water, well, specifically our sensors. Our sensors in those tanks are really old, and they constantly will tell us that they are full. And they're not. We, for example, just dumped our black tank maybe 2 days ago, and the sensor reads full already. It's one of those things that I just don't have the know-how nor do I want to have the know-how of how to replace the sensors in our black tank or our gray tank. I feel like that's just a little too advanced for me, so I'm sitting this one out. They work great. There's no cracks, there's no dry rot, we don't have to replace them, but it's one of those things that if the sensor is so important to you, know that they're going to be a little out of synchronization when you have something this old. All right, guys, point number 5, continuing with water, is our water heater. As you know, we've replaced it. When we bought our RV, we didn't think that we were going to need to replace it so quickly, especially after just 2 months of full-time RV living, but we did. And to be honest, it's been hands down the best repair we've done. Instant hot water is great, but we just didn't see it coming. So my advice to you, if you're planning on having an older RV, is to be prepared with an emergency fund. Have the ability to replace it yourself. 1, replace it yourself if you have the know-how, or 2, pay someone to do it. You know, you might not know how, you might not be handy, you might not have any tools. That's okay. You can pay someone to do it. No one's gonna judge you for it, I promise. But for us, it's just something that caught us off guard. You know, we didn't have the funds right away, I don't think, or we didn't expect to need the funds. And also, we were just lucky that we were at our family's property that gave us the ability to literally pull everything out and tear out the subfloor, replace that rot and everything. It was a pretty extensive repair that we just were not prepared for. So have an emergency fund if you're looking at having an older RV. And guys, before we move on to point number 6, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, let us know what's going on. And we also have a Instagram, so we love having you guys follow us on here and follow our little adventure. But wherever we go, I love to take photos. I love to post our photos on our Instagram. So go follow us on there too. We're at Wannabe Travelers. It's perfect. I think you guys will like it. But point number 6, what you guys are here for, right? Point number 6, I would have to say, is getting an older RV usually means it's a little outdated. What I mean by that is the technology on it isn't going to be as advanced. You're not going to have automatic levels. You're not going to have an automatic jack, things of that nature. So if that's a big selling point for you and you don't want to put in the workout to level and hitch up or unhitch your travel trailer, take that into consideration, because let me tell you, our little jack, the first one we had that it came with, it broke 3 months into having this. Replaced it. Really easy to replace, don't be freaked out, but we had to replace it. And then currently what we use to our stabilizers is we use a drill. Like, we put in our drill and we just use that to bring them down and bring them up quick. So that way we're not sitting there cranking it back and forth. Like I said, an older RV usually means more work, and sometimes it just means a workout. So be prepared for that. And guys, listen, full transparency, we messed up. We thought we had 7 harsh realities to tell you about, but we really only have 6. So comment below, tell us your 7th harsh reality of having an older RV, if you already have an older RV, or if you're like, hey, we have a new RV, but I think this applies to you as well. Let us know what's up. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. See you out there, wannabes.